As of this morning, 26 people have been charged for their roles in a sprawling drug network that
America, 9 years ago, the FBI started chasing a drug pipeline pumping fentanyl, cocaine, and heroin into South Carolina towns. Last week, 26 people charged, federal charges, 10 years to life behind bars, and not a single big news network sent the cameras. There's a reason for all that, you guys, and that reason tells you everything about what's happening with these drug crews right now and why the big networks need you not to notice. There is a name that explains how this case finally got closed, and a 16-month clock that starts the day Biden's prosecutor walked out and ends with 26 people charged.
through this multi-agency task force, we're using every resource available to target gangs, violent crime, and other drug trafficking. Federal, state, and local law enforcement are working as one team together.
What is up, guys? Tyson, DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. May 20th, 2026, Charleston, South Carolina. Brian Sterling, Trump's top federal prosecutor for the state, walks up to a podium, and behind him, 20 different people and federal agencies. We're talking about the FBI, the Homeland Security, Charleston PD, 11 more, 12 agencies, one room, one case, you guys. Watch what they were really chasing.
The indictment alleges, beginning in 2017, the FBI and local law enforcement partners investigated members of the Fruittown Prairie Gang, a sect of the Bloods, and the Gangster Disciples operating in North Charleston. FTP is a national gang with its origins in Compton, California. Gangster Disciples, as y'all know or may not know, originated in Chicago, Illinois. Investigation ultimately uncovered a sophisticated narcotics supply network with ties to Mexican drug traffickers in Atlanta, Georgia, where the main sources of supply of these gangs into the Charleston area.
Big city gangs don't move into small towns by accident. They send the crew when the money's good, and local cops haven't obviously caught up yet. Charleston was the target, and what they were selling was the slew of the traditional gang stuff. We're talking about cocaine, crack, fentanyl, heroin, meth, ran all over the country, down every single road, into every single neighborhood. Here's what they grabbed: 61 kilos of cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, and meth, 12 guns, $100,000 in cash, and piles of fake pills. Listen how the deputy police chief said that they sold those pills.
We've seen individuals take fentanyl and press it into pill form. It looked like Adderall or it looked like Xanax, and sell it to young people and things, and they're not even sure what they're getting, what they're ingesting, and to be honest, they don't care.
Obviously, there's not going to be a warning label. There's not going to be a warning. They press pure Fenty into a pill, and they painted it to look like an Adderall or a Xanax, and we've seen this across the country. And they sell them to kids at parties. The kids think that they're getting something to help them with studying or looking to get a quick fix through Adderall or Xanax, and essentially it can stop their heart, and the dealer's gone before the ambulance shows up. That is the business model. They looked at American teenagers and saw a check. Now, 26 of these people just got charged. We're not talking about a slap on a wrist. This is a federal grand jury. That is a room full of registered Americans who sat down, looked at 9 years of proof, and said, yeah, that's obviously more than enough to take them to trial. And most of these charges come with what's called mandatory minimum sentences. In the plainest version here, basically the judge's hands are tied. He can't go under 10 years. No lawyer, no deal, no smooth talking your way out of this that gets below that situation. 10 years is the floor here. And here's the part that the headline skipped. The case started in 2017. 9 years ago, you guys, Trump's first term, the FBI noticed that the drugs weren't being made in town. They were showing up over and over again from somewhere else. So they had to figure out where the pipeline was coming from and figure out who that somebody was running it. That somebody was a middleman in Atlanta. And get this, a 60-year-old man named Odilon Reynoso Albran. He sat in the middle. Mexican cartel on one end, Charleston dealers on the other. The cartel pushes the drugs up from Mexico into Atlanta, then into East South Carolina. And look at what the cartel's built just to get across the border.
Agents say the cross-border tunnel is about 1,933 feet long, 55 feet deep, and 4.5 feet in height, with reinforced walls, rail, and ventilation systems and electricity.
If you guys haven't seen this, this is absolutely wild. A tunnel almost half a mile long, light rails, air pumps. The cartel build these tunnels pretty frequently. They show up a lot, but this one is very specific. The cartel build it like a real construction job here because you only build it once. They run drugs through it for years. That tunnel essentially feeds Atlanta. Atlanta fed Charleston. Those South Carolina towns were the last stop on the road that started originally in Mexico and ran through 3 different presidents. Here's the timeline that nobody put on screen. Trump started this case in 2017. Then our good friend Joey Biden's team took over and kept it going. Biden's top prosecutor of South Carolina, Adair Boras, had the case in 2023. The work was done, presumably. The pipeline was mapped. The case sat, just like everything else in that administration. No final charges, no grand jury. It just basically sat there. Brian Sterling took the chair in 2025, and listen to what his office said 16 months later.
And we have a message for folks that want to come into our communities and sell drugs and harm our people and harm our citizens. We're watching you. We know who you are. And just look at the lineup of people we have standing behind me. We're working together hand in glove, and we will find you and we will prosecute you, and you will end up in federal prison.
3 presidents, 9 years of work already on the table. The only question left was who actually would walk it across the finish line. The case sat at the Biden prosecutor's desk for forever. The chair changed 16 months later. 26 people are charged. You do the math on that one. Now, here's what changes the whole picture. That Charleston press conference wasn't just a one-off. The same day, federal charges dropped in Central Illinois. The same week in Indianapolis. The same month in D.C. and in Los Angeles. This was the same play, different states. Line them all up, and you're not looking at a good day in South Carolina. You're looking at this whole Justice Department running flat out. We're talking about from coast to coast, and big networks, they didn't even cover it. Same day as Charleston, May 20th, Central Illinois, the FBI called it Operation Viper.
In late April and early May, partner agencies arrested 29 people, seized thousands of grams of drugs, and confiscated 7 guns.
That operation just illustrates the importance of partnerships and the strengths of those partnerships and the results that we're able to achieve as a group when we come with a shared sense of purpose.
That exact day as Charleston, the FBI doesn't run 2 big press conferences in 2 different states on the same morning by accident here. Then, get this, in Indianapolis, a few days later.
Violent crimes including kidnapping, assault, and witness intimidation allegedly committed by 12 members of the Crown Hill Enterprise.
It was no secret. The group was known to be operating in the neighborhood.
According to this federal indictment, between 2019 and 2024, the Crown Hill Enterprise used 11 trap houses to traffic large amounts of heroin, fentanyl, meth, and crack cocaine.
Charleston, Illinois, Indianapolis, 3 federal busts in a 4-week stretch. We're talking about the same tools, the same 10 years or more charges, the same kind of prosecutor running that exact same play. Now you guys put that next to Los Angeles. May 2nd, MacArthur Park, 300 officers, the DEA, Sinaloa cartel on the supply end.
California policies have failed. The policies of California to just let people use drugs open and notoriously with little to no criminal consequences is a failed experiment. It does not work. It does not work to simply hand out needles and Narcan.
Federal power works everywhere that it lands. Charleston, Illinois, Indianapolis, LA, you name it. The feds don't check your city's sanctuary rule before they pull a suspect into federal court. They don't care about your local DA and what they refuse to charge. The 10-year floor is still there, and your local police, they can't touch it. Think about what a sanctuary city really does. A sanctuary law tells the local cops not to work with the feds. It puts up a wall in front of the exact machine that just broke a 9-year cartel pipeline in South Carolina. Charleston got 26 people charged because there was no wall in the way. That is the entire difference. That's what those sanctuary rules actually cost the people who live there every single time. America, here's the line from the podium that no big anchor repeated because no big anchor showed up to hear it. Sterling said, "We are not stopping." Not case closed, not we won. We are not stopping. The middleman is headed to federal court. The Charleston crew is broken, but the cartel that built and fed that pipeline for 9 years, still out there. And Sterling told you straight on camera, more charges are coming. This is the same story behind every federal win this year. The tool was already there sitting in the desk. The law was already there. The power was already there. Every one of these cases comes down to one absolute thing. Who is running the office? And do they actually want the case to be closed? Biden's prosecutor had it. They sat on it just like everything else. Sterling took the chair and closed the case in 6 months. The cartel had 9 years to run that pipeline. Sterling had 16 months to shut it down. Do the math. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.